doctor that was doing it was telling me exactly what he was doing, and he was letting me look, and he like asked me to help him with things, and it was really interesting because before that I've never broken a bone, nothing bad has ever happened to my health, so I was really scared. But everyone was really gentle. So I was discharged from the hospital a couple days later, and then I was scheduled to have my results the following Thursday, which was exactly a week afterwards. And in between that time, I was going to meet with oncologists, so I knew what it could be, and everyone around me was acting like there was no way that it was going to be the worst case scenario. So those couple of days, which was probably like, I don't know, 5 days, they were really interesting. It was it was very beautiful how careful everything was, and there was one particular morning where I wrote the following, and when I wrote that, I didn't know that it was going to be so significant, and I didn't know that later on I would look at it as one of the markers of that entire journey. This morning, lover opened wide for me, an expanse for my reach. He let me kiss and touch his body before the sun, before the shower, and clothes and work. Let me be first. I know how to bathe immaculate, so he will bask underneath me. I can be drizzled sunlight like that. It was 5 in the morning, but lover never fails to kiss me like I am new. As a familiar does not challenge novelty, he kisses me true. When he leaves, the marmalade in his goodbye is a candied secret I will unfold in my quiet all day. Every tomorrow, I ask him to lullaby me with breath, quilt in me its patterns. I will rest easy, ready to love him, new and first, all of the mornings. So that was this. And when I was getting ready for this set, I went back to see the things that I had written within that time, and I didn't really remember that I had written that, and then I realized, I looked at the date, and I saw that it was the 21st. So I had my results on the 23rd, which was last week, a year ago last week. So anyway, on the 23rd, I went in to meet with the oncologist, and she told me that I had large B-cell lymphoma, and I didn't really have a chance to react because she said, that's what you have, and then that was again Thursday, and we had rescheduled our trip for that weekend. And she said, tomorrow you need to have a bone marrow biopsy, on Monday you need to have a heart ultrasound, and you have to have your PICC line inserted. On Tuesday you're doing chemo teaching, and on Wednesday you're starting chemo. So everything was already very fast paced, and it didn't slow down at all. So that Thursday I didn't react. That Friday, I had my bone marrow biopsy, and out of all of the things, that was the worst of the things. I was in a room that was very, very small, and I was on one edge of the room, and it was an oncologist, Dr. Kane, and she had other students in the class, like from the hospital watch, and I think there was probably 6 people in there, not including me. So it was me on the bed, and then it was Dr. Kane, and it was her nurse, and then students. So I had the procedure, and I don't really have a limit. Like, I'm not really embarrassed to complain ever. So I had no shame in the fact that there was all these people, and I was screaming. And like I said, everyone at Kaiser was really great. So Dr. Kane, she asked me how to breathe, and she was doing the procedure. She was telling me how to breathe when I wasn't breathing, and at the same time she was teaching everyone in the room what she was doing. So that was that. Then I went to San Francisco that Sunday. We came back, and it was Jahal's Red Stories. And actually, Jahal was the first person. Up until that point, I hadn't really like set in that I was diagnosed. And actually, Theo was featuring at Red Stories that Sunday, and Jahal asked me how I was doing, and it's something that she always asks, but with everyone else when I asked, I could say, oh, I'm fine, and you just move along. But when Jahal asked, I didn't know how to say, oh, I'm fine, and then just leave it at that. So I started crying, and then she pulled me aside, and then I told her that that had happened a couple days before. And I was diagnosed on the 23rd, and the 24th was my older brother's birthday, and my older brother lives in Australia. wanted to tell people publicly.